ball. I think we're going to have to call today the sardines to Superbock edition.
Last night, super, yeah.
I actually barely remember it. I'm surprised you do, to be
I had
fair.
more Superbock than sardines. You had more sardines
That is true.
than Superbock.
I know, and poor Joe, the amount of food that we pushed down him.
He didn't have more than one of the other. He just had a lot of both, didn't he?
Yes.
That's why the camera might be doing a bit of that. He's grinning behind it.
Yeah, Joe, you're so patient. And I'm quite pleased that you still got your shirt.
He can't respond, he can't reply.
No, I know, your shirt's still intact as well, which is a bit of a blessing for today.
Yeah.
Had dinner with Jens last night, which takes me to Daytron.
Yes.
So let's have a bit of chat about that. And then we'll talk about all the fun we've had around Porto, because that's been
what a great
amazing,
city. What a great city. And in fact, the hospitality has been fabulous here. And actually the event, I mean, I guess we should say, if you didn't see the video yesterday, this is a 2-day event here. We're at Maquinser Tech in Porto. They're expecting around about 120 people over the 2 days. Been busy this morning, it's lunchtime now. We're going to have a bit of lunch after we've taken you on a tour and taken a little look at some of the things we didn't speak about yesterday. Yeah. And this Daytron machine, we sat with Jens last night talking about these technologies.
I know.
This has got it's an HSK E25 tool holder in here. And you can see that's the ATC at the back there.
Right.
It's not something I've ever really been too involved in, this type of machine.
Yeah.
But it's mainly for really high speed machining. In fact, you've got one of the. There you go. Look at that. That's what this is actually making. It's doing.
And how many? What was the speed at?
An hour and 35 minutes to machine and out of all of this. All of this sort of capacity, working capacity. I don't know whether it's about 100 or 135 of them, but it's pretty quick. But yeah, it's a 46,000 RPM spindle, or certainly over 40,000 RPM, so it's a really fast machine.
Yeah.
They tend to fit into companies that are machining, either aluminiums, materials like you've got there, plastics. They can even do, foams and wood and stuff like that. Yeah. Really small as well.
Tiny footprint and so versatile as well.
But they used to be very popular and still are in like the dental sector. And one of the reasons for making them small is because sometimes these dental practices aren't on the ground floor, are they? So they're up in, high-story buildings. So you've got to actually get this in a lift and go up. So I've seen a few machines in the past, like VMCs, trying to be craned up into sort of second floors and up higher in buildings. But you can kind of see why, because of the footprint of this. I mean, they do bigger ones as well. And they've even started working in like the luxury goods sector. Because they were saying
a bit of luxury, Paul.
I know you do. You've got them in your ears. We'll
you need to talk about my earrings a little bit as well.
They were saying last night about how they like machining these almost like credit cards and stuff now for people.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Having a yacht and having your credit card done for you, but in titanium and all sorts of crazy stuff.
That's what this is, really high speed machining. But the tools are tiny in here.
I know.
And I think it's 46,000 RPM. But you can almost just wheel them in and wheel them out. So one of the things that Maquinser Tech's up.
And also the nice thing is that Jens is over here supporting, and we've got all the partners here as well. So we have a little bit of chat with him in a little while.
And it's his first time in Porto as well last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
we enjoyed it. What was it? A Porto and tonic.
Well, you did, Porto and tonic.
Well, that's the only thing you didn't have.
Quickly, let's just have a quick look at this.
The machines are open
Tsugami.
now, aren't they?
They are. The doors are open. Tiny little machine. This sliding head technology. Loads of tools in here. You see, you've got your tools for cutting on the main spindle. You've got back working tools at the back of the machine here to obviously finish the part. But down this row, they've got the various sizes of Tsugami machines.
Yes, we've got a few along here. And this is the part that was actually produced at... Sorry, Joe, we're going to force you through the crowds. This was produced actually at the Beam Show. And we were talking to Sergio earlier, one of the sales director for the Northern area. And this is produced, but it's lead-free. Why is this, and what's the difference?
So people are moving more towards these materials because of the sustainability factor and stuff like that. But you're right, if you take that, you can undo that, and you've got two bits skiving on the outside. Lots of kind of tricky, intricate machining operations. And one of the things that we said to Sergio is, how fast is it to make? Or,
and you were surprised, actually. It was a different surprise on this occasion.
Yeah, because that's not and quite rightly so, that wasn't the point. It was more like about how do you control the process on that type of material, because it's the swarf, getting the swarf off the part it doesn't chip very easily. So of course they've got software in the machine that allows it to break the swarf better tooling solutions, which means really you're not chasing sort of seconds on these parts. I guess in industry you would be, but it's about doing lots of tricky machining operations all on one machine in a controlled process. And that's what they've been sort of showing here.
That's what's been going on
showing
here.
at Beam Show.
Yeah.
But looking in this machine compared to the other one, Alison, it's obviously much bigger working envelope. Again, you've got your platens for your operations on the main spindle and the back spindle, and you've got your back working tools here. And also what they were doing is sort of they're cutting it dry, so there was no fluids in the machine.
I know, it's quite unusual. They wanted the customer to be able to perceive and see the part exactly how it is.
Yes.
So the oil wasn't getting in the way.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I mean, that's what they're about though, isn't it? Showing the customer things, so they get to see things live properly.
But
and
if you see sliding head machines working in the field, you can't see what's going on inside them.
Yeah.
I wanted to just pick back up on this
I want to see this one again.
Yeah.
So we started looking at this yesterday, Paul.
We did. Yeah.
But this takes us to something else. So let's talk us through the technology on there, and then we're going to go to the Blum stuff on here, aren't we?
Yeah. So the machine's obviously a machining process here to a mould here, or a mould for the mould and dissector. But the problem is with the problem is with applications like this, you need to get terrific surface finishes, and you need to get an amazing fit between the male and the female part, for example.
Yeah. Which takes us over to here.
Which takes us to here, which is what Blum have brought to the show to show people. And I would need my glasses on to read that, but I believe it's called.
Would you like me to read it to you, Paul?
I believe it's called
form control.
Form control. So you can see here all the points that the Blum probe is actually picking up across the surface of the part. And then what it will do is it will relay any inaccuracies back to the control, and then it can remachine. I then questioned the fact that, okay, can you also check the surface finish? And you can also do that, not with the actual tool or the form control, but it's another piece of the software which will allow you to also check the surface finish, because that's a critical part of this. Of making parts for this sector as well, which we learned yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday's, used to represent around about 50% of the manufacturing here in Portugal. And of course, with the fact that times are tough in that sector, people are now having to diversify and do different things. So they're having to use machines like the Leadwell to do different work in different industries. I mean, we did skip the MX420 there, but we looked at that yesterday. But that's about taking companies into a new environment, automation, being able to run lights out, unmanned, again within controlled processes, less operators and stuff like that. So the Portuguese market is changing quite quickly.
I think we need to take Portugal as well. I talk a lot about Spain because that's my heritage, so to speak. But really, we need to take Portugal really seriously.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of investment in the defence sector now. Yeah. We were hearing this last night as well.
The drones protecting that massive coastline.
They're investing in the defence sector. They want to get more involved into the aerospace industry. One of the big things here they're talking about is obviously trying to educate companies, small to medium-sized companies that don't have the experience in the levels of automation that these guys can show them, and that's what they're showing off here at the show. We did look at this machine again yesterday.
Well. Yeah, we had a good look at this one. Lots of compliments about this, about the quality, the finish, and everything else.
I would say that this machine today has probably been one of the most popular machines that's been attracting attention.
Yeah, we've been getting the nose in here and having a look what's going on.
That might be because it's right next to where the...
Can I just do one little thing? Before you get your nose back into the pastéis de nata and the francesinha and all the other things that you keep eating, let's not forget there's also the HB3D bit up on the top there as well.
Yeah,
This is where I got these from. Yeah. Thanks to Moussa from a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yes. Because it's a perfect complement, the 3D printing so you've got the additive and then the subtractive. I suppose this market is slightly different to some of the other markets we go to a lot. Like you've got Germany, which is a powerhouse in manufacturing. Even Spain, where we go to, where Maquinser have the other facilities in Barcelona and Bilbao.
Yes, because there's 3 facilities up for Maquinser, aren't there?
Yeah, and you look at what they do in Bilbao in terms of the machine tool manufacturing base, the Beam show. Industry there is much different to what it is here in Portugal, but they're really trying to ramp up, and they're really trying to show people that actually what you're doing in Spain, in Germany, in Italy, even in the UK, our manufacturing base is much bigger. They can achieve those kind of things here. So it's an impressive site. Right, time to have...
let's go.
Come have a look at this.
I'm starving.
What have we got here? This literally is my first look at this.
We got ruined last night, didn't we, by Ignacio
Yes.
on the food and James Bond drive round seeing the bridges.
Yeah. That's fabulous. Yeah, that was.
And it was Gustav Eiffel built one of the bridges. I felt quite ignorant. I didn't know that.
And they're the biggest European street festival here in Porto as well.
We need to get our
And the
invites.
sea is extremely cold.
We need to come back for that.
Where's the
Where do we
plates?
start?
Where's the plates? Over here.
Paul?
Anyway,
Paul?
you can't watch us eating, so we're going to have to close
Where's
this
the
one
super
out.
box, Paul?
Don't forget, that's coming in a bit. Don't forget, this event is on tomorrow as well. Let's get selfie. Right, let's eat.